If you've been around for a while, you know that I'm a strong believer in maintaining a well-stocked pantry. My pantry once overflowed with supplies for any crisis. But when dietary changes for my husband and I demanded a fresh start, I was faced with the daunting task of rebuilding my prepper pantry from scratch. I've been through the ultimate pantry overhaul, and through this nightmarish reorganization project, I managed to use up and donate most of my preps. You may have even noticed my empty pantry in the background of a couple of my videos. With a shelf upgrade from my husband and my food levels at a stressfully low level, I'm ready to start my prepper pantry from scratch and bring you along. Today, I'm sharing the first 5 steps to starting a prepper pantry from scratch. So if you're ready to learn the art of food prepping, let's dive in and stock up for any challenge that comes our way. Hi there, friends. Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Louann, and I am so glad that you're here today. You may have heard me mention a shelf upgrade. Years ago, I had my husband remove the top shelf out of this cabinet when I decided to use it as our food pantry. I couldn't fit a box of cereal on top, and with kids at home, that was very important at the time. Now that the kids have moved out, I've asked my husband to replace the top shelf, leaving enough room for my tallest canister above and a quart mason jar below. With a few metal brackets and a couple measurements, he did a fantastic job, and everything now works perfectly. Today, I'm sharing the first 5 steps to starting a prepper pantry from scratch. Building a long-term prepper pantry involves several initial steps to set a solid foundation. Before you even begin to start growing your pantry, you first have to get your current pantry under control. To do this, we'll start with our first step, and that's assessing. Assessing your pantry helps you understand your current preparedness level and identify any gaps in your supplies. To do this, begin by removing all items from your pantry. Evaluate the remaining contents of your food pantry, taking note of what you have in stock, including the quantities and expiration dates. Then, dispose of anything past its expiration date and donate non-expired items that you won't be using. If you would like to show your support for this channel, the easiest way to do that is just to give this video a big thumbs up. Now, the next step in our process is grouping. Once you've assessed your pantry, group similar items together. Grouping items helps you see what you have and makes it easier to plan meals and grocery lists. And now for our third step, consolidate like items. After grouping your items, consolidate duplicates and similar items. Consolidating like items helps maximize your storage space and ensures you're aware of your inventory. To do this, just combine partial packages into one container to free up space and reduce clutter. Consider using clear containers for better visibility of contents. And like I've always said in the past, you don't have to invest a lot of money in this area. You can reuse jars from pasta sauces. I use a lot of glass jars in my pantries. Also, I have glass jars that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. And you may see the occasional plastic bin that I've ordered from Amazon, but I have not invested a ton of money, and you don't have to either. Okay, now that you have assessed your inventory, you've grouped like items together, and you've consolidated duplicates, the next step is labeling. This is going to help you prevent food waste and allows for efficient rotation of your stock. So label your containers with the expiration dates and product names to easily identify your items. You can also cut cooking instructions from the back of boxes and from the labels and tape them right onto your container. Now for our fifth step is restocking and organizing. It's now time to place your food items back into your pantry, and we're going to do this in ways that work for you and how your kitchen functions. I'll give you a quick tour of my pantry to give you some ideas. And these first two cabinets are our ready-to-eat items, and I consider these first two cabinets my working pantry. On the top shelf are cereals, pork rinds. On the second shelf, I have crackers, nut butters, a jar of grits. On the bottom shelf, these are the things that we use to top our oatmeals, cereals, and salads. It's dried fruits, different types of nuts. Here are the Parmesan crisps, some peanuts. And then beside of that are some whole flax seeds and a jar of chia seeds. Now going to the very top shelf of this cabinet are all of my canned ingredients. They're pasta sauces, black olives, green chilies, enchilada sauces, and my mixes. On the second shelf, this is all of my canned meat. Things like tuna, chicken breast, the salmon, we have corned beef. On the bottom shelf, these are the snack shelves. Of course, back there is a little more of meat, a stack of sardines. In this canister, I have the oranges that I'm adding to my cottage cheese, an open bag of tortilla strips. These cashew clusters from Aldi's are great with their chocolate hummus for a healthy snack. But I just group these together in this little container so that they're easy to slide in and out and easily accessible. Along with that, I have some canned fruit. So this is our ready-to-eat foods that I use the most. Now moving on to the next cabinet, this is going to be filled with all of my flours and baking mixes. On the top shelf, I have almond flour, the gluten-free flour, some salt in the back, and baking soda in the back. Then as we move down to the next shelf, these are the rest of my flours and dry baking goods. We have buckwheat flour, coconut flour, psyllium husk, xanthan gum. Behind the coconut flour is some powdered milk, and I have a jar of shredded coconut in the back. Beside of that is some cocoa, and in the front, some brown sugar. Now, on this very bottom shelf, my husband, bless his heart, knows how much I love to bake. Since becoming gluten-free, that's become much harder. So he went out and bought me all of these mixes so that I wouldn't have to do without. This first one is a gluten-free cinnamon swirl crumb cake. The next one is some blueberry muffins. I also have some chocolate chip cookies, a couple brownie mixes. That one's from Pillsbury, and this is the Aldi brand. And then, of course, I have a chocolate cake and a vanilla cake. He thought of everything. Now, I hope in future videos to learn how to start making these from scratch again using our other baking ingredients, and I'll be sure to share those with you. In the back, I have a few more cans of fruit. Now, in this last cabinet are the sweet baking ingredients. On the top shelf, we have the stevia, the granulated sugar, and powdered sugar. On the next shelf, of course, there's the brown sugar that I mentioned before, the cocoa powder, have some miniature marshmallows, and then all of our mix-in chips, M&Ms, candies, and melting chocolates. On the bottom shelf of this pantry are my pie fillings and local honey. I also wanted to show you that going through all of our drinks, I was able to update and reorganize my hot drink drawer. I also wanted to show how I store food in my dining room. In these canisters, I have oatmeal, pinto beans, and white rice. Now we're moving into my laundry room, and I'll go over what I have in these cabinets. These cabinets are not as easily accessible, so this is where I'm keeping condiments and a few canned vegetables. On the top shelf, we have some oils, vinegars, steak sauces, and then we have the sweet condiments such as more honey, jelly, maple syrups, and my lemon juice. In this last cabinet here on the bottom shelf is my backup teas, almond milks, and that is also where I brew my kombucha when I make it at home. On the next shelf are all of my baking goods like cupcake liners. You can see I have a big thing of marshmallows. These are some sprinkles. We have some more melting chocolate, my piping bags. Here are some more food coloring, some homemade ice cream packets, and my decorating tips. On this very top shelf are what's left of my soups, beans, and canned meats. These are the items that we don't use very often. By following these beginning steps, you can establish a solid foundation for building a long-term prepper pantry that will help you and your family remain prepared for emergencies or unforeseen events. So go get busy on your current pantries, and I'll see you next time. Bye!